entrepreneurship is not easy. There's a lot of things people don't talk about. Anything great that you want to achieve is going to come with hurdles. To have a beautiful view of a mountain, you have to climb up a mountain. As Miley Cyrus says, it's the climb.
Welcome to Solo to CEO. We're sitting here with Malya Feivelson. Did I pronounce that correct?
Yes, perfectly.
Amazing. Malya, tell me what you do.
Hi, my name is Malya Feivelson. I am the Malya Cam on LinkedIn, if you follow me. I have a company called the Malya Cam, which is a media and marketing company. Super fun. There's 3 divisions in my company. What would you like to know?
Oh, wow. So there's the event planning and events, corporate events. And hold on a second. Let's see if I got this right. Then there's the podcast,
yes,
podcast marketing.
Yes. One more.
And
what am I known for? Come on. You got this.
LinkedIn marketing, social media marketing.
Oh, by the way, before
I was about to get kicked out.
Before we start, as a thank you for having me on your podcast, I wanted to bring you one of my sweatshirts. From my latest debate. We have had swag made up. And
time to agree to disagree.
Yes. How awesome. You could open it up.
Put it on.
I hope it fits you.
Is it a size medium?
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Okay,
I hope you don't get like extra hot in here. I'm going to hold the mic. I feel like this is like a new cool thing that people do in podcasts. Oh, wow. Nice. Check it out. That is awesome. I'm so happy that it fits perfectly. Look at that.
Okay, it's going to get really hot, but right now I'm very comfortable because this is very cozy.
I'm so happy that you're wearing it. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, for sure. Thank you for the gift.
You're very welcome.
The best way to show appreciation for a gift
is to use it.
Appreciation to a gift or
for a gift.
Appreciation for a gift?
Yeah.
Is to actually use it.
Exactly.
And then let them know that you used it.
Exactly. Well, I'm seeing you using it right now. So you got that all in one here.
So let's focus on the social media marketing that you do. How does it work?
Okay, so it's very simple, right? Somebody is on LinkedIn, a company's on LinkedIn, they have a service, they have a product, and they are trying so hard to market and it's just not working out. So I have clients that are dealing with obscurity. They don't know how to get their name out there. And they come to me and they're like, Malya, can you help me? So for example, I just worked with a new client this past month. Today was the last day of the month. We just renewed for another few months. And she started off with like very few, like basically 0 impressions on LinkedIn at the beginning of the month. Right now, I just showed her like her milestones. Like at the end of the month, I give like the milestones, like what you've reached, and I make it really fun and exciting. She reached over 5,000 impressions in this month. And going from 0 to 5,000 for her is huge. We went up
5,000 per post or 5,000 for the month?
5,000 for the month, which is still amazing. Obviously, someone who's a content creator, like, I have over like 1 million impressions.
Per month?
Not per month, like, it depends. Like I had like 2 million in the past year, 2 point something. I think I have to check my analytics.
What do you get a month? I'm just curious.
I get around 50,000. Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
The most I've gotten was like 20 something thousand.
Oh, really?
But that's when a post, goes big. But
right.
When I'm consistently posting, probably around 10,000, but then I could have a 5,000 month, I could have a 4,000 month. So it's very
I don't necessarily like I don't judge myself on how many impressions I have. I'm like, you know what, Malya, you are quality, you are good. It doesn't really matter if one post doesn't do well. I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, if a post doesn't do well, don't beat yourself up about it. Like, just don't do it. So the fact that my client went from having very few people looking at her account now to over 5,000 is very big. And that's just within the first month. So I really help my clients get their businesses out there. I helped a client get on LinkedIn. Within 2 weeks of working with me, she called me up and she's like, Malya, people don't stop calling me. I don't know what to do. I'm like, that's a good problem. I'm like, don't complain. Hire someone now, right? Hire someone to answer the phone calls. That's a good problem if people are calling you. That's something that you want to happen.
So what's your strategy?
So my strategy, what? You're talking about my LinkedIn strategy?
Yeah.
Okay, very simple. Okay, I've had the honor of being one of the creators for LinkedIn. So it doesn't just mean that you're on creator mode. It means that you have someone behind the scenes on LinkedIn actually that LinkedIn pays for you to have a LinkedIn manager. So I have inspired some people who actually work for LinkedIn. I walked into a supermarket and this man says, Malya, you're the Malya Cam? And I said, yes. And he's like, I love what you do. You're inspiring me so much. Can I give you a gift? I said, sure, whatever you want. And he said, I want to
make it out to Malya Cam.
the Malya Cam, yeah.
Malya.
And I was like, what is it? He's like, I want to give you a chance to have a LinkedIn manager. That means anytime you have a question, you call her up. So I have this LinkedIn manager. She's amazing. I started meeting with her and she explains to me about content and she explains to me about newsletters. She explains to me how to become a top voice on LinkedIn. So all these behind the scenes things that people don't know the answers to, like there's so many rumors now that I'm getting annoyed at. Like there's one rumor that says LinkedIn changed the algorithm, which means that if you don't post expert advice, like if your profile says that you do videography, right? And you're posting about construction, they're not going to post your content. That's not true. I called the people on LinkedIn and I asked my LinkedIn manager. I also asked this guy that works for LinkedIn who got me the LinkedIn manager. And he said, that's not true. People make things up. So I get my actual
Was it based on
questions.
any truth? Because I've seen that.
It's not based on anything. He said people make things up. He said it's not based off anything. It's very simple. LinkedIn is post consistently, understand what your audience wants to hear. So I am known for videos, the Malya Cam, the Malya camera, right? So it's short for the Malya camera. And I did videos every single day. I'm up to like 600 and something. It's really incredible. And like the fact that I was very consistent just showed me and taught me how to help my clients. So consistency is key. I tell my clients as well, we are going to work on what works for you. It might be that you don't do well with videos. You do better with pictures. I had a client that didn't want to post pictures, only wanted to do content, like written content. It wasn't doing so well. And I told her, you have to switch to, pictures at least. It went up by 18%, 18 or 180. I don't know. It went from like 5 likes to like 18 likes. So you do the math. That's not my thing. So
like it's either 18 or 180.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it went up.
Nothing in between.
I don't know. I'm not sure with the math, but it went up. It definitely went up. So my advice is for content is see what your audience likes, test things out, do written content, do videos, do pictures, whatever sticks is what you should stick with. Try not to veer.
That's a good slogan. Stick with what sticks.
I didn't say stick with what sticks.
You said it differently.
I said if it sticks. Whatever come on, sticks, play back.
You said something like whatever sticks, stick with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. But that's definitely how I help my clients and make sure their profiles are set up correctly.
So moving forward with LinkedIn, what would you say someone should be doing if they wanted to really make it on LinkedIn? How would they figure out exactly what they should be posting and what would be the best strategy for them if they're on their own?
So depending on what they have, right? Depending on what their business is. So I would say, number one, be genuine, be authentic, be real. You don't have to be fake. People pick up fakeness. Also be interesting. So number one, I would say videos are amazing. They might be going out on LinkedIn a little bit. Like people don't have as much time now as they did the past couple years with COVID and everything, right? So pictures are a great way. I always tell people, take good pictures of yourself. Post something interesting of yourself, right? And I would say do like 90% free advice. 10% try to sell people. But 90% give free advice to people on how you can help them, how you can help them, how you can help them. When I started on LinkedIn, I started without a product. My goal was be genuine, gain trust in the people, don't sell anything, just give free advice to people. And I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and I did it every single day. And everybody would be like, Malya, you're doing another LinkedIn video? And I'm like, yep, another LinkedIn video. And the consistency was key. So if you're just starting out on LinkedIn, definitely make sure you're consistent. Try to like and comment on other people's posts. It's very, very, very important to do that. That's one of the services I provide. I also provide that I send out private messages for my clients. So I do 20 messages a day, depending on which, package that they have. But definitely consistency is key. Posting stuff that's interesting and that sounds genuine. When people could smell fakeness, you know what I'm saying? They could definitely smell it.
Let's talk about the services that you provide for people. So there's a big controversy I see on LinkedIn a lot.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna test you right now.
Oh, so I love getting tested.
There's a big controversy that people are very against. Like people boast that they're the ones running their LinkedIn, but I do see a lot of people they advertise this kind of service where we run your LinkedIn. So I imagine people have confronted you in the past by saying, this is not, it's not genuine. Someone running
Right.
someone's LinkedIn. What do you respond to them?
So I've actually never gotten that. I've only gotten, can you
I'm
run
the
my
first?
LinkedIn? You're the first.
Oh, cool.
I have never, ever gotten that. People just want me to run their accounts. And I'm very, very genuine with my posts. You would never know who is my client and who is not. I had a client yesterday who came into the Five Towns and we sat. It was a 4-hour thing I filmed. He doesn't have a smartphone, okay? So a lot of my clients are people that want to be on LinkedIn, but they don't have a smartphone. They don't want to be on social media. I have also another client that she doesn't want to touch internet, nothing, but she wants a presence. So those are the people that I serve a lot. So this client came to Five Towns and I filmed content of him. I took pictures of him, videos of him. I helped him word it, but everything came from him. I gave him the ideas. I came up with the content strategy, the content calendar, what we're posting when. And I told him, this is what I want you to talk about. Give me a story about this. And we went 1-minute video here, a picture there, another video here. So the way that I do it is I don't write content only. A lot of it comes from my clients. We work together. So it's funny you ask. I hated all those people that ran people's LinkedIn accounts. I said, this is so fake. Everybody could do it. It's 15 minutes a day. Like, what do I need someone to run a LinkedIn account? Like, I came up with a different strategy. I said, I'm only coaching people to get on LinkedIn, right? Why spend $15,000 in a few months to have someone run your LinkedIn account when I can teach you for less how to get onto LinkedIn? So I had a lot of clients that I was coaching. And then it came to be recently that people just don't want to touch the account. And I said, you know what? If you do not want to touch the account, you're going to be involved and I'm going to help you, right? So I'll create content with you. I will ask you to send me some written stuff and send me some pictures. We work together. But mainly at the beginning of my LinkedIn department within my company, the only thing that I was doing was coaching people because I said my value is that no one should have to rely on a company to run your LinkedIn account. And now I'm one of those people that run people's LinkedIn accounts.
Awesome. So you mentioned before we hit record that a while back you were actually just giving away a lot of free content. And then there was that realization at some point where you're like, I shouldn't be giving this away for free. No. Could you talk about it and the theory behind it?
Sure. So at the beginning of my LinkedIn career, people saw me popping up everywhere. Like the Malya cam just started popping up every single day. And the people that challenged me to get onto LinkedIn were like, how are you creating so much content every single day? Like, how is this even possible? I just love getting in front of the camera. I love the mic. I feel myself. I feel comfortable. I feel like it's where I belong. But the thing is I didn't realize that I had my own value. And this is something that I've learned over the past few years. I didn't realize that what I had was something that was a gift, something that was precious, something that I taught myself because I was on LinkedIn all day, figuring it out myself, doing a content lab within LinkedIn. Like I created my own content lab, what sticks, what doesn't stick, and I came up with a few things that actually stick. Like when there's another person in your post, people like to click on it. People like to see it. If there's someone else in your picture, people want to click on it. So, and then I saw like if I do podcasts, little clips of podcasts, they don't spread so much. So I was able to do my own little content lab and trying to become creative with how I promote things. But I was giving away, people would call me, like I was doing it like 5 hours a day, just answering phone calls. People would say, hey, Malya, I need some LinkedIn help. I'm not sure. And then at the end of the call, they said, how much do I charge you? I was like, nothing. Like, what do you mean? I'm just doing chesed, right? Like, I don't know what it's like to have my own business. Like I have no one in my family that's in business. So I didn't realize that I can charge. The first time that I charged someone to do LinkedIn, I finally was fed up. I was sitting in my room and I was like crying and I was like, Malya, like why don't you know how to make money? Like what is happening here, right? And I didn't know. And I was doing my podcast actually, and I was trying to get people to pay $25 to have a commercial on my podcast. Now I value myself a lot more. And I'm not going to tell you how much more I charge, but let's just add 3 zeros at least. So basically I called one Hasidish guy who I was working with at the time. And I said, can you please sponsor my show? And I thought for sure he would. I said, he said, how much is it? I said, 25. He said, no, I'm not sponsoring your show. I said, why not? Like, I was like, this is hard enough for me to ask. I felt like I was asking for money. I didn't realize that I'm doing a service. You know, I don't want to ever take from anybody. So taking money from someone, I felt like I was taking money. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel great about it.
Yeah.
I don't like to take with anything. Like, I don't like to take someone's time. Like, even like here, I didn't want to take, you know, I don't like to ask people like to use this space where we're in. It's hard for me to ask for favors, you know? So I said, you can't pay $25. He said, call me back when you charge me the right number. He said, when you call me back with a much higher price, I will pay you.
Nice.
Call him back a month later with $250. And I said, hi, so-and-so. Can you be a sponsor? Would you like to have the chance to be a sponsor on my show? He said, how much? I said, $250. He said, you have it right now. I'm sending you Zelle right now. He said, that's the price I want you to pay. That's the price I want you to charge. So it took a lot of like developing, like, okay, I have an amazing service. I'm great at what I do. I have to understand my value. So I read a lot of books and different things. But when it came to LinkedIn, I remember someone, I still know exactly who it is. He's still on LinkedIn. He reached out to me and he said, Malya, I need some help to get onto LinkedIn. I said, sure, I can help you. I said, but is it okay if I charge you $35 for the hour? And he's like, oh, sure. But like, I felt like he was a little annoyed that I was charging. But I was like, I need to charge. And I remember I ran to my mom and I was like, can you believe that I just made $35 for this hour? Can you believe it? And she's like, wow, you charge someone? Like, that's great. But like, why did you charge? Like, and then I realized like, okay, Malya, you have value to give. And I didn't just go from 35 and I didn't just like jump to like 300. I jumped my price by a lot. Once I realized my value, I jumped it. Not by 2 zeros, by 3 zeros. Do you know what I'm saying? So I went from making like $35 to charging a lot more, you know? But like to do LinkedIn for people, like I was able to really pull myself into saying, these are my prices. And I remember when I sat down, I had one of my friends at my house and she stayed up with me till like 2:00 in the morning. We wrote, even though I've written so many, like I wrote for Hebrew Hits, my podcast. I wrote a business plan. I wrote different business plans, but I said, I don't need a business plan. I need a brochure. So I sat down and I made a brochure for myself. And the brochure had all the details of what I offer, all the pricings. So the second anybody wanted to know my pricings, I was like, okay, I have this ready for them. Now I have a little bit of a different strategy. It's like, do you need this? I'm good. This is what I can help you with. I can't help you with that. No. Like some people I say, no, I can't help you with that. But doesn't matter how much it is. I'll get the job done. I'll do a good job, you know? So I try to avoid the price tag on things now when I talk because it doesn't matter. I'm good at what I do, you know? So it took a lot of like being an entrepreneur. It wasn't just that I had to like understand my product. I had to value myself and understand myself and create boundaries with people, you know? Like I don't just meet with anybody these days. I used to meet with anybody. You know, and if something in my gut tells me no and something's off, then I listen to my gut. Now I try at least the best that I can. But yeah, it's been like I really grew as a person and I'm still growing. I'm still young. So I'm saying like I'm still growing and it's incredible to see what like being an entrepreneur, it really like sometimes like just humbles you, you know, and there's a lot of growth that happens.
So there's two things that are worth unpacking over here, and they really work hand in hand.
Yes.
So there's the niching down and charging more. And they really work together because the idea of niching down is when you realize that there is a specific industry and then a specific niche in that industry and then a specific direction that you want to help that niche in. And once you realize you're able to do it and you get better and better at it, you realize that your service is invaluable, and that goes hand in hand with charging more.
Right.
So let's talk about it a little bit because a lot of people out there are trying to be, you know, everything for everybody, which is basically nothing for nobody.
Yes.
Can you talk
Yes.
about that a bit?
Yes. I love this question, and this podcast is very therapeutic. I feel like I'm going through a lot. So when I was in the position to say yes to everything, right? I wanted to be that kind of person, just like, yes, yes, yes. Everything is a yes. Like, I say yes to everything. I was making no money, and I was like, just trying to do everything for everybody. I had to do what's best for me. I had to look inside myself and say, what do you need and what's good for you? Not in a selfish way, but like, yes, you have to be a little bit selfish, you know? And I had to teach myself how to be selfish. I had to really teach myself how to be selfish. So when it came to like understanding, like, no, you don't have to do everything. Like somebody recently asked me if they have a job, not they have a job, they have a company and they do master classes. Okay. And they want to make me have my own store that I sell these master classes. And he's from a different country, England. Okay. And I was like, but if I'm selling master classes and then an English guy gets on, that's not a, like, people are gonna be like, but you're American. Like, I'm not. He wanted me to be the face to the Americans to say, I have a master class, even though I never even took the classes. So I said, listen, I could market them as you, but no, he wanted a new face. And I said to myself, a year ago, I would have said yes to this opportunity because I would think that I could manage it. Now I realize it's not for me. So I said no. I had another guy. Two guys came up to me and they said, Malya, we have a gifting store where all the gifts go onto one app and we can make you your own store and all you have to do is market it. So I said, how much money will I make? Oh, like $6. If the price is like 60, they make $6 and we split it. So it's $3 for me, $3 for them. And I said, do you know how many videos I have to make for clients or for myself? Like, do you know how many do you know how much I have to sell to make the money of one video that I produce? And I was like, this is not that it's all about the money, but like, I have to understand where I'm putting my energies. Yeah, it's business. So I was like, this is not for me. Where a year ago, I probably would have said yes. So it takes a lot of like sitting with yourself. And I did so much of this. I did my 2-hour walks for a very long time. I did 10,000 steps. I walked 2 hours, walked an hour there. I sat by the water. I walked back and I had a notebook and I just like wrote things down, what I wanted, you know, and it had to be very clear in my head. So I think that once you just like narrow it down for yourself and you have to be with yourself. You must sit with yourself quietly and not let the outside world disturb you because there's so much going on outside that literally like everything could distract you. So I'm not saying that I don't get distracted. I am human. But I really try to focus on like, okay, this is what I want to accomplish by the time I'm 30, you know, and then 35 and then 40 and so on and so forth.
Awesome. So once you've figured out what your niche is, how do you go about determining what your price point is going to be? And then going ahead and selling it at that price point?
I love this question as well. You have very good questions. And I like that because that shows that you're listening to what I'm saying. At the beginning, I had no idea what to charge, right? I'm charging $35 for an hour of my time, which is ridiculous. And then I'm charging $25 for a commercial on my podcast, which, hello, I have like 700,000 people who already saw my podcast. At that time, maybe it was down to 200,000. I don't know. But I'm like, why, you know, like, why don't I understand the numbers? Then I went very high, like very, very, very high. And I was trying to sell. And I sold my first high package within 12 minutes. Okay, 12-minute phone call, boom, sent me a $1,500 deposit. You know, it was great. I was like super happy. Then I realized that because my price was so high, yes, I'm going to get some people that are going to be very interested in my service. But if I just lower it just a little bit to make it a little bit more comfortable in the eye of the consumer, then I will get a lot more clients, make a lot more money. So this is what I decided to do. And I have so many catalogs like on my computer. One is the Malya Cam brochure. One of them is the Malya Cam catalog. One of them is the Malya Cam like list or whatever, just because I had to change my numbers. So the way that I did it was I didn't just like put out a number and stick with it. I put out a number. I saw that was too high. People were not buying it, right? And so I lowered my price. I let that go significantly for like a month and I was able to make one sale. But I was like, One sale ain't gonna do it for me. So I decided to lower it and make it a price that I'm comfortable with and make it a price that people want to hire me for.
What was that like,
Thank
lowering
God.
it? Was it like
It made sense. I said, Malya, you didn't value yourself last year. You're charging $35 and now you're out of this world. Like you're ridiculous. You know, like
was it humbling to lower it?
I don't know if it was humbling, but there's a specific word that I'm looking for. Sherlock Holmes, let me go into my brain. Exactly. It was very like, it's the opposite of denial, like a feeling. Like when I realized like the right price point, not that it was humbling, it was more like
validating.
Not validating, that's a good V word.
Vanquishing.
Ventriloquisting.
Yeah.
No, it was more like I was being, I don't want to say normal, but I was being like, in my head, like, okay, that's the right thing to do. You know, I was being, it's bothering me so much. I can't think of it. I'll think of it after the podcast,
If only
obviously.
this was live and there were like 20,000 people.
I would love if it's live, honestly. I'm very chill. Like, I'm very comfortable with myself. I'm very comfortable in front of the mic.
This way you could be like, if you know the word, drop it in the comments.
Exactly. So I think exactly. So I'll tell you, it's the opposite of denial. It was more like when I realized
I'll text it to you tomorrow.
It's really like when I realized the price point, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, it was that I'm in the right zone. Like, I'm not thinking of myself as too high. I'm thinking of myself as like, this is business. This is right. This is good. You know, this feels right. And obviously over the next few months, I'm going to be upping my prices when, you know, I start hiring more people. Right now, we're just me and 2 others and 1, you know, here and there. So it's a team of basically 3 to 4. But I mean, I'm going to be seeing what happens. I just want the best results for my clients. That's basically like, that is the bottom line.
Awesome. And then when you go about selling it at that price point, I imagine you need to really, really be confident in that price, right? So when you just made up a price and you're pitching it to someone, right, then to test it, right? Because you know the value's in it. The question is if they're going to see the value as much as you do.
So this really high price that I pitched, it took me 12 minutes to sell. Happened to be pretty, you know, I try to be a good seller. I was head of sales before I started all this in a company. And people may say like, Malya, why are you not sticking to that high price if you sold, right? Because I was able to sell to this person in 12 minutes, but I'm not going to be selling to everybody. And for myself, I said, I'm not ready for that price yet. Like, I'm not ready. Once I, specifically, let's say with podcast marketing, once I get to a point where it's like, my studio is like incredible, next level. And like, then I'm going to be like, okay, this is the price to get on my show. But until then, I have a price that I'm very comfortable with. Maybe I shouldn't be comfortable, but when I'm selling, it's not like I'm just selling to anybody. I don't just take on anybody. I had a guy this morning who, you know, was interested in coming on my podcast and okay with how it works, with the marketing process of it. And like, the bottom line is that people are interested. People want to get their name out there. They know that I have a good following. They know that people are listening. I mean, I had a client of mine came on within 5 days. He made almost $20,000 just from being on the show. So it was huge for him. Like, he really, really, really like did so well. And he's not the only one. That's just one client that's coming to mind.
Maybe I should get on this show.
Definitely. Hello. Once we have the equipment here, we may as well.
So let's talk about podcasts.
I love that.
Do you believe that every business should have a podcast?
No, not every person.
Who should?
Anybody that just wants to use their voice, honestly. Like, I don't think everybody should be doing everything, right? Everybody is different. If you want to have a podcast, if you want to speak, it's so easy. Like, I help people start podcasts. People call me. I have like mics. I also use the Shure mics. You know, I tell them what to get. I see you're using the Sony cameras. I tell them the Canon. I think it's the Canon from B&H. But either way, I need to check out these cameras now. But but I don't think everybody should have a podcast. I think it has to be, podcasting is so difficult. I don't think anybody realizes what goes into a podcast. So I really appreciate you having me here, because it's not only your time of setting up, it's your time driving, it's your time editing. And if you're a one-man band, which I know you're not, but if you were, you would be editing it yourself. And it's so much time. And it takes a lot of energy and emotional energy. And if you're starting out a podcast and you didn't monetize it yet, I used to cry so much because I didn't monetize my podcast. Now that I monetized it, thank God, a show comes up. It's great. Let's go to work. But before I monetized my podcast and I was interviewing people and like the people didn't appreciate me interviewing them as much when it was free. And like, they just assumed, great. Like I remember I interviewed someone and the last 5 minutes got cut out. He messaged me and he said, I just want to let you know, like, the last 5 minutes are not here. Why is it not uploaded? And I'm like, I just spent weeks editing this, my time, my energy for free. And that's when I realized, like, people don't appreciate when things are free. People don't appreciate that. I appreciate this that you were doing because I literally like understand the pain and like the hardship that it goes into creating a podcast. But I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this for free anymore. Like, I think it's amazing that you're not charging. I hope that you have somebody I hope you're monetizing this somehow through like commercials or something, but it's definitely not easy.
So we're not monetizing this directly, but part of the idea is content marketing. So we want to create a source of valuable information
Right.
for service businesses. Right. And that's just, like you said, to have a voice. That's one way to introduce myself to the public, by bringing other people to the light.
That's awesome. Here's the light.
Exactly. We started this. We didn't have an exact direction of where we're going with this. I keep saying our first episode, I actually named it Start Before You're Ready.
Oh, wow.
Because I called my accountant, who has a firm of about 30 accountants. And I said, he's a friend of mine. I said, Pacey, I want to interview on my podcast.
Cool.
And I called a few other people that I knew that had, successful companies. And I just interviewed them. And I'm like, I want to see where this is going. I had no idea how much this is going to cost me.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Tens of thousands of dollars later, I'm like uploading episodes. Right now, we're at a point where after the only involvement I have is setting it up, recording it, and taking down the equipment.
That's
Other than
awesome.
that,
You are lucky.
We have a whole process. We have about 7 or 8 people involved in making this podcast, 6 of which are full-time involved in the podcast. Thank God we have a process now. But yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
I'm so happy that you have people because for most of what I do, it's within the podcasting, it's all me. And it's very difficult. It's not easy at all. Setting up my studio, you know what I did? I painted the walls myself. I went to Home Depot. I got the wood myself. I had my brother drill the wood into the wall. I created my poster. I got it printed. I schlepped down the couches. I put the carpet down there. I do have an interior design background, but I got LED lights. Everything I did myself.
Why didn't we do this in your studio?
Because my studio, I had to take it down because my grandmother moved in with us. So the basement now became her.
Oh, right. You mentioned that.
Yeah, it became her room. Call. Like she has her own private bathroom. She has her own room. So I had to take down the studio. But, I'm happy to have her there. And I'm, hoping to restart it up soon, either through an office space or, I'll figure it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about who should be having a podcast. So my opinion, and I welcome you to disagree with it, is that anyone who wants to really grow their business and their business is about helping people should have some sort of platform, whether it's a podcast or more formal, videos that were, pre-planned and scripted or whatever it is, but to create content that is all about educating people. So I believe a podcast is the easiest way to do it because it's just much more natural. You sit down and you're talking. And that was the whole idea. I wanted to create content for social media that's helpful for people. And I found this to be the easiest way to do it, especially working with my personality. So I believe anyone that has a personality, some sort of personality, so not dentists, and I'm just kidding. Anyone that has some sort of personality and is about helping people, I believe they should all have a podcast if they want to grow their business. So
I agree and disagree. I agree that people with personality are the people that could be a podcast host. I don't think anybody should do anything, right? Even if like people have a business, I believe 100%. And I tell my clients this all the time. I don't like to take clients that don't believe this either because it's not good for any of us. I say there's a God in this world. If he wants us to have parnasa, if he wants us the content to flow, if he wants people to see us, it's going to flow by God making it flow. It has nothing to do with us. The result has nothing to do with us. Us, it's all of the work that we're going to put into it, right? We have to do, in Hebrew, it's called hishtadlus. It means the effort that we're going to be putting in. So I don't think everybody should have a podcast. I think people have to understand the difficulties of the podcast before you start it, because I think if you saw how much money it was going to cost you, would you have continued? Maybe yes, maybe no. Who knows? But podcasting is not easy and you have to really be ready to jump in. But I do think that if you do want to promote your business, you don't have to do a full podcast. You could do 1-minute clips on YouTube. You could do 1-minute clips. You want me to say that again? You could do 1-minute clips on YouTube. I'll do it again. You could do 1-minute clips on YouTube. You literally do not have to do a full podcast. And there's so many different ways. That's why I encourage people. If you want to get your business out there, know the end result is not you. That's what you have to understand. The end result is not you. The effort you put in, create content, take pictures, take videos. You do not have to have a full podcast. No, I don't think so. I think it's beneficial, very beneficial, but you have to know that you have the time for it. The time and head, energy, and space that you have.
I'm going to eat some humble pie for a second. I think I agree with you, actually. And just to adapt my own voice to what you said, I think that everyone should be creating content to some extent. If they're about helping people, they should show that they're helpful. So they should create some sort of content. I feel the easiest way to do it is in this kind of setting where you're just having a conversation. You don't have to script anything. You're just talking. But yeah, not everyone should. I disagree with myself.
Yeah. You see, I'm happy I'm able to turn the tables. I will say also that people that are just starting out and don't have such a big name have a harder time nowadays. There's millions of podcasts. Harder nowadays getting their podcasts off the ground. Listen, I'm not the biggest podcaster at all, but I'm one of the very few female Jewish podcasters out there. I've been on live radio. I worked in a non-Jewish radio station, like a regular FM station for 2 years. Like I've been out to
drop names on this episode.
We can. I worked at 90.3 WHPC in Garden City. I went out to Ryan Seacrest in LA in 2019. In 2019 or 2018, I was at WFAN. I went there a couple times. I was with the producers, seeing how they work the show. I was at 1010 Wins, 880 News, 1027. Basically, I went to Entercom Studios, which is in Manhattan, and I toured the whole place, checked it all out. I was at Sirius XM, which was very cool as well. So I've done things. It's not like I just showed up on LinkedIn. You know, like I'm a little bit different than most of the podcasters out there. I have radio background. That's why it's Hebrew Hits Radio, because I did not understand that a podcast and radio were like different, and they're very different. Radio and podcasting they're similarities, but the same family, but cousins. They're not siblings, you know?
Either way, so jumping back into it. So we're talking about podcast marketing.
Yeah.
What does podcast marketing mean?
It means that I market companies and people's services and products through a podcast. So if somebody is a virtual assistant company, I will, and I've done a couple of these on my show, I will sit with them and I will talk to them about their company, what struggles they've had. It's a very interesting because I combine their personal life and I combine their business, and I market them, and then I post it all over LinkedIn and social media, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google, it goes all over, and they really get marketed. And the fact is that they make money. The reason I realized I have to start charging for this is because I got a phone call from someone. And he says to me, I said, why do you want to be on my podcast? He's like, well, I want to get marketed. You know, I want people to hear about my company. Right then and there, I said, oh, I charge for this, which I never did before. Everything else was free. This is when I realized I have to charge. And I was like, the fact that you want to market yourself just means that you want to use my platform. This is going on in my brain, which is fine. The guy's amazing. He's such a nice guy. He treated me so well. Very nice client. And I literally was like, okay, like this is what I have to do. I have to charge because I don't want to be taken advantage of. And I don't want it to be that someone just like, people get so excited. They hear I have a podcast, they reach out. The second I say I charge for it, a lot of them go, charge for this? Oh, we're done. And so I say, you don't value me? You valued me when I was free. You don't value me when I charge. Like, what's happening here? You know? So at the end of the day, I was very, very happy and I was nervous to charge. And I charged a very, very low price, as I said. But you know what? I did it and it got me into the idea of you start charging for things. I had a lady, she wanted me to post a video of her company or organization. And I said to her, okay, there's different prices. If I come to you, there's a different price. If you come to me, there's a different price. Which package do you want? Which package are you interested in? You know? And she says to me, you charge for this? You millennials charge for everything. Why do you always have to look at the dollar sign? You would make so much more money if you just took commission off whatever you made. You didn't even take the time to even hear about the commission. And I was like, whoa, lady, like I could take commission in extension to my price. But me taking time out of my day, spending a few hours creating an engaging video, because when I do my videos, I'm not like an influencer, like an Instagrammer, like, hey, everybody, use my code for 20% off. Like, no, I come up with an engaging video that's exciting, that's going to promote this person in a really interesting way. Like, it took 2 days for me to market. I marketed a guy, he had a very fancy dish. He mailed it to me. It took me 2 to 3 days to make that one video for him because I had different things that I was doing with it, and I cooked food and I put the food in the dish, and it was very nice, and he was very pleased, and he was an amazing, amazing client. But it takes time. And the fact that this lady like shoved it down and she's like, you millennials, everything's about money to you. And I was like, whoa. And I put her on speaker and I put her on mute. And I was like to my mom, what am I supposed to do? And she was hearing how this lady was speaking. And my mom said, ignore, just say thank you so much and just hang up the phone. So that's exactly what I did.
And good riddance.
Yeah.
The best clients are the ones that you don't take.
Ah.
That's what
that
they
does
say.
not make any sense.
The best clients are the ones that you say no to, meaning these are people that you do not want to be working with to begin with. If they don't even appreciate you from the initial phone call,
exactly,
then it's not a fit.
Exactly. I was thinking, I spoke to a lady today. She was like, hey, we need like a support group for business owners. And like, I think something that especially young entrepreneurs, like, I don't know if you come from a business-minded family or if you taught everything to yourself, but business is tough. And I think that one thing we all need to learn is the red flags. Like, I know that me and you have had some situations, which we will not discuss, but like, if we were able to pick up on red flags.
But everyone's had situations.
Everyone. I'm saying, yeah. I'm saying not specifically that even like.
It just happens to be the same person.
Oh, okay. We'll put that out there then.
No.
Fine.
No, that's okay. We don't need to discuss that. So
I'm saying like to learn about red flags is important, I think, in business.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So what are some red flags, once we're talking about it, what are some red flags that you've picked up in clients when they first reach out to you that you've seen play out?
Okay. So number one, if the person doesn't show up to a meeting, that's a red flag. I've had really big people who I've had for my podcast. I don't respect them anymore. Not because they didn't show up to me, but because they didn't show up. They didn't show up, and they didn't show up 3 times in a row. They didn't show up, and I gave them, okay, Malya, fine. Schedule another call. Schedule. They didn't show up. Schedule another call. Every time is another excuse why they didn't show up. And I'm waiting there on Zoom, makeup done, light, everything set up. It's not easy to do. They don't show up. And I'm like, that is not appropriate. And I had once a guy that did this. It was the 3rd time. He finally got on the phone. Finally got on the Zoom. And he says to me, you know what, Malya? It's a little bit late. I really can't do this right now. I said, we scheduled this now. He's like, can we just like push it off for a week? I said, you already pushed it off a few times. I said, I'm doing it now or never. And he's like, oh, okay, so we'll do it now. And I was like, that's so inappropriate, right? So like those kinds of things, I've realized if someone doesn't show up, if there's an excuse, I could understand the excuse, but I'm not going to have you back on this. This is when I was also not charging. So like now it's like, you give me a deposit. Like if you don't show up, I'm sorry. It's your fault. We could
that
rate
was
check.
That was going to be my follow-up.
Yeah. When people like weren't charging, like then I got like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're not waiting around, you know? But that is like definitely a red flag for me.
It's actually, you brought up a good point. When you're not charging for something, you can get stepped all over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How's it? You can get stepped on. That's the word. Yeah.
You could definitely get.
You can have people step all over you when you're not charging. When you are charging, then you can have systems. You can have systems in place.
Right.
So if they show up late,
right,
then they only get 45 minutes instead of an hour or whatever it is. If they don't show up at all, their deposit's gone and they need to pay whatever the premium is. You know, they need to pay something in order to be able to
Exactly.
reschedule.
It comes in my contracts. I've learned a lot of things in this time of entrepreneurship. And yeah, in my contracts, it says if you cancel, let's say for an event 2 weeks before, you have to pay the full price before I even start working on your LinkedIn account. Deposit up front when you sign up. But then before I'm about to post, you have to pay me in full. Like I don't do this anymore that I wait around for money because I can't trust people. I learned that I can't trust. And it's very sad because like I used to trust people and I would like people to trust me. But in business, you just can't trust, you know? When it comes to money, people can be wild.
Even people you know, I want to add. Even friends. Absolutely.
Yes. Sadly.
And it also doesn't matter how much money the person has. It's a personality. There are people with no money that will pay everything on time. And there are people with a lot of money that are just
1,000%. I'm still waiting for money from somebody. Didn't pay me back. Didn't pay me for a service I did for almost 10 months already.
Wow.
I think it's 10 or 9 or 10 months. And it's ridiculous, you know, but I can't keep chasing and God knows. And, you know, God has a plan for this human being because at the end of the day, like this person knows how much that they owe me. They have the invoice. They know, you know, all the pricing. If they don't pay me, they're going to have to take that up with God, you know, and I'm not mochel the money. My rabbi told me, make it very clear to this human being that you are not mochel the money. And I'm not mochel the money. The person knows I'm not mochel the money and that's it. We move on, you know?
Yeah. Well, the challenging part of it is not just the actual money. Like I need to pay my bills.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
The feeling of being taken advantage of.
Exactly. It's so much more than the money.
Yeah.
It's not only the taking advantage of, it's running around in circles and we don't have to go into details. Like I would like to do like focus on more lighter things in this podcast. But yeah, entrepreneurship is not easy. There's a lot of things people don't talk about, you know, but honestly, like the success like outweighs everything. Like the fact that like you're able to start a company. I know for myself, the fact that I was able to start a company, the fact that I'm still going and I didn't give up. Like one Friday, I really thought I was going to give up. I was in my room crying again. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this. And my mother's like, no, you can. Like, you could do this. Like, you know, you're going to continue. You're going to continue. And she really helped me and I pushed through. And here I am, you know, 2 years later, still pushing through. So if like anything great that you want to achieve is going to come with hurdles. To have a beautiful view of a mountain, you have to climb up a mountain. You know how many times I like could barely breathe on hikes and I pushed through and then you have a beautiful view. So as Miley Cyrus says, it's the climb.
Destiny Hope Cyrus.
That's her real name?
Yeah.
See, I don't know that.
Don't ask how I know.
Don't
that.
ask me why this young gentleman, yeshivish bacher, knows Miley Cyrus's real name.
Listen, we all went to elementary school, so or in my case,
we did
high
not
school.
talk about Destiny, whatever her name is, Hope.
So let's talk about video. What are the different ways that you use videos in your marketing for your clients and your own marketing as well?
And my own marketing. So with videos for my clients, I could just tell you, I just take out my phone. I don't do anything crazy fancy because a phone is good enough and it's even better than good enough. I have a microphone that clips right into my phone. It works perfectly. So I take my clients around. We do.
Can you expound on that for a second? Because someone watching this and they're like, I can't afford to hire a production team, and they might.
No.
Right.
This is not so expensive. I mean, it is a little pricey if you're not sure that you want to spend so much money. It's a few $100s, but it's not $1,000. Like it's a few $100s. You could get a mic from B&H. B&H will walk you through the whole thing. You'll need an iRig, which is what I use. It's so simple. It's a little box, and the mic cord plugs into it, and the phone cord, and then everything just gets attached very smoothly. And again, it's not really so expensive. It is pricey though, depending on what you could afford.
Another option actually
is something on Amazon, right? Like the $30 one.
DJI is not sponsoring this, but another option.
That means they are sponsoring, by the way.
Absolutely not. Another option is this little guy right here. And I see a lot of people are using it. This is wireless. It works with iPhone, Android, and actual cameras, and you just clip this on to yourself, for example. And then this you can connect to your phone using one of these guys.
What's the price of that?
It's a couple $100. So it's a worthwhile investment if you're going to be creating a lot of content,
Right.
but you can't afford to hire a production team.
Right.
If you're a medium size.
The problem with wireless, which is why I don't use it all the time, is because I was discussing with people who use wireless and it doesn't work many of the times. And when you're filming content and you need something that is going to 100% work all the time, you use a cord. Yes, a cord is a lot more annoying. I use a cord all the time. I don't trust wireless just because I know that if I'm doing content, I'm not doing it again. Like I'm doing it one time shoot. So I use a wire and it always works. Whereas wireless, even if you're in the same radius, like you're so close to each other, sometimes it won't work.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of truth to that. Like if you have wires, it's not going to fail you most likely.
So what I did with my clients, I do a full day of content if they want to create content with me, and I don't usually use a mic if I don't need to, but if a client specifically wants to use a mic because I feel like they're more comfortable, then we'll put a mic on and we'll go to different places. We go into the street, we go to the park, we go into a building. Like I don't like content that's just in one location. Like I like when content's all different locations. I like when there's a park outside and you see the sky and you see the street and and then you go into a building and you take some content. Diversity is amazing. So that is what I do. Like I love making all different kinds of videos. There's always a new location you can go to, even in your house. There's so many different walls. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do. And videos are very powerful. Remember to smile in your videos. Always say, remember to smile. I could do the whole podcast like this. Then that would come off a little bit fake. But remember remember to smile. Remember to be like speaking to the person, not to the huge audience. Always speak to the you. That's what they taught me at the radio station, my first ever. My what's his name? My director was Sean Novat. He was amazing. He taught me a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's what I do. I love helping my clients create content. And videos are very, very, very useful. The videos that I hate and that I cringe at the videos is when someone is talking about their business, not in a podcast. When someone is promoting their company, this happens a lot of times on LinkedIn, and all you see is, hi, this is my name. And you see the side profile, and this is what I do, and come to my company. And they're not looking straight at the camera. I cringe by the side. I don't know why people do it. It doesn't make sense to me, but
it's so funny that you're saying that.
I don't like it. Front and center is so much better.
That's really funny that you're saying that, because that's like the style, like the going style.
It's so not a style. It should go out right now.
and it happens to be, I preach those exact words. If you're speaking to someone, look at them. Exactly. If you're talking, look at them. So that's actually our minute promo videos that's one of the rules we break.
I love it. I hate it. I'm telling you, there's this one person I'm thinking of on LinkedIn, and I guess he does good work, but always he has a side profile. He just started doing front face, but I never wanted to say anything because I don't want to be rude. But I'm like, dude, like, come on. Like, you could have had a much better video if you're just looking at the camera. Why do I need to see your ear and your side profile?
So it's important to understand that it depends on the application. Like right now we're doing side profile.
Different in a podcast. I said it's different in a podcast. It's not a podcast. When it's a podcast, you're talking with someone. So there's going to be different angles that you're seeing. When it's let's say it's right, I'll do right now. Hello, LinkedIn. Welcome back to the Malya Cam. I'm so excited. I'm in a podcast right now with Yaakov Citron. He's so cool. He has all this cool setup, and it's just such a fun environment. We really just relaxed here, and we just had a very open conversation about LinkedIn, about podcasting, about business, about networking events, and it was all so, so, so awesome. So I hope you guys all tune in to this podcast because you are not going to want to miss it. So I'm saying if I was doing that, that was just for show, but you could definitely use whatever you want. But I'm saying that is me looking at the camera. That's beautiful. The second it's going to be the side profile of just only seeing this. What are you doing? Honestly, I don't get it. I don't like when people do that. I think it's so off. Guys, just do straight cameras, okay? Straight.
Keep it direct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's vertical or horizontal. I do vertical. It's easier for me to hold the camera. I look better in vertical. But people do horizontal. That's fine. Podcasts, I do horizontal. It's fine. You know?
So I agree with you with the straight on thing, and I preach it all the time. I do believe there are applications where, not just in podcasts, in promo videos as well, when you want someone to be passively listening and you're not like pitching them anything, but you're discussing, let's say like documentary style video.
Yeah, but that's different because it's showing different angles. And it's a documentary. It's different. I'm talking about a 1 minute video for LinkedIn to promote your services. You don't see influencers going, you see my earrings? You can buy them for 20% off with my code. You don't see that.
Like, look at me.
Yeah, it's
look
like
at me now.
Everything's the front face. So that's definitely the thing. I do want to discuss something with you before we wrap up. It's like the fact that we're here right now shows that we're creating a lifestyle for ourselves that we want, right? If I just was living the hamster wheel, 9 to 5, a job I didn't like, I would not be able to be here. The fact that I created something for myself that is a life that I want to live is incredible because I'm able to be here because of that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
like people don't understand, and I'm trying to say this so much, that like there's so many people that are walking around so sad all the time. And like I see it and they complain about their jobs. I know it. I hear it. And I'm just like, quit your job. And they're like, what am I going to do? I'm like, I don't care how young you are. I don't care how old you are. If there's something you want to do, if there's something you want to be, even if it's an artist, buy those paints, start painting. Hashem puts the price tag on how much money you are going to make that year. So if you love your job or you hate your job, you're still making the same amount of money. So wouldn't you rather love your job? Now, of course, you have to do your hishtadlus. But I believe that if you do something that you want to do and you put in the right hishtadlus and you try, Hashem will bless you if that's what's meant to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And God forbid if you're not supposed to make...
In English.
Oh, did I say something in Hebrew?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I love it. No, it's great. It's great. No, so that the idea what you're saying is that as long as you're doing what you want to do, you just need to put in your due diligence.
Exactly.
And God will take care of the rest.
And let's say you have a job that's 9 to 5. You hate it, but you're making money. Let's say you're making $100,000. If you're only supposed to be making $50,000, God is going to come and do something. I don't know what it is. I don't want this to happen. I'm not saying I'm praying for this to happen to anyone. I'm just trying to let you understand, just because your paycheck is $100,000 doesn't mean that, God forbid, a car would crash or something, there would be a flooding in your house, or you're going to need to spend extra money for something. The beginning of that's what it is. God says how much money you're going to make. So I don't know. I really want to encourage, my whole mantra of the Malya Cam is live, don't just exist. Really try to create a life for yourself that you're going to be happy about. And like, I don't want to just exist on this planet. And like, I want to really live. I want to do adventure. Like I'm building a company now so that by the time I'm 30, it's running on its own and I don't have to be busy with the LinkedIn work. Right now, people are lucky they have me running their accounts. In the future, I'm going to be having my employees doing that, God willing, with Hashem, with God's help. And in that case, like I will be able to do more things of what I love, which I'm really excited for, but I can't just jump the gun. My entire career in the past few years that I've been on LinkedIn, I wasn't like focusing on the small steps. I just wanted to be there already, right? I just wanted to be the best already. I wanted to be there. I wanted to jump the ladder to the top. When I realized, and this is coming back to the word that's the opposite of denial. If you find it, like if your editors find it, they could just like put it on the screen. But this also came to my realization that when I realized that it's the small steps that actually make the difference, that is when I started succeeding. I remember like just sitting there wanting to be at the top and like, I was like, why is nothing working? And then when I took a small step and I did small things, I realized, wow, this is what it means. And like the first time I ever realized that I took a step up the ladder was when I had a female call me up and she said, Malya, I watch your content. You're so inspiring. I want to be like you one day. I want you to teach me what you know. I'll work for you. She begged me to work for her. She begged me that I should hire her. She should work for me. Okay. She really wanted to work for me. And I was like, whoa, Malya, you just took a step up the ladder. And that's when I realized I was actually headed in a direction. You know, business is so tough, but like when you take a step up, it's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is the word acceptance?
The word could be acceptance, but I'm not accepting. I'm in reality. That's the word, is reality. Reality. I'm actually living in the
Definitely
right reality.
doesn't start with a V.
It doesn't. Reality. No, when I actually was being like living in like the reality of the world. That's the word, reality. So when I was able to realize and have, you know, not denial, but this is the reality of life, right? And I was like, wow, like I did take a step up the ladder. And like the fact that like people around me now are excited to actually see me create a LinkedIn video. They don't say anymore, oh, that's another LinkedIn video. It's like, my family is like, what in the world? You created a company that's growing. You have people paying you money to do services for them. And it all started because you posted videos on LinkedIn. Like, that's incredible. You know, it's just so incredible. And like, I don't know, I'm just trying to connect with good people. Like, I want to surround myself with good people. So that's my goal for this year.
So before we land the plane, before we wrap up, I have
flown questions. A plane before.
Actually?
No.
Okay. Before we wrap up, I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
Question number 1 is, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that you post every day besides for Jewish New Year's.
Yeah.
How? It's a one-word question.
I mean, you don't post every day?
I post every day.
Yeah, so?
But I push a button, meaning the content is being created, batch content.
Right.
I sit down, I chat, we have this talk for about an hour, and then 10 little videos come out of it, and I post that. But I'm not sitting there every single day from 9 to 9:45. Is it impressive for you?
Because a lot of people tell me this. A lot of people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, what do you mean? I just take out a camera and film.
It's very impressive.
Thank you. I happen to be extremely comfortable, as I said, on camera. I thrive on the camera. I love the camera. And
were you always like that?
I think I had to learn how to use my voice, because I used to love talking. I still do. But I also learned how to be a good listener. I had to understand what to say, you know? Like, I have so much content still on my phone that I haven't posted. And when I'm inspired, I create content. And I haven't posted it yet, but I'm like, okay, for a rainy day. But the way that it made me a lot easier to post is that I have an actual content strategy. And every single morning I look at my notebook and I'm like, hey, what am I posting? Oh, that's what I'm posting? Okay, great. So either I'm going to go through my phone looking for a picture at me at an event, or during a podcast, or me with someone that I want to post about. I already have in my head like what I need to post about. So it makes it a lot easier. But in the beginning, I started LinkedIn, guys. Here's a secret. I will tell you all. I started LinkedIn to teach me one key factor. Can you guess? No, we can't. I went on LinkedIn to teach myself consistency. I wanted to see if I can show up, and I can show up, and I can show up. And this is why many people don't know. But on LinkedIn, people don't know the reason. Like, someone just messaged me today, what do you do your days for? Every day on LinkedIn, I do day number 1, day number 2, day number 3.
650.
Today I'm up to, this is the recorded date, right? So I think I did day number 629 today. Clap, clap, everybody. Sound effect. So I'm up to day 629, and it's incredible. Like, I literally just post, and I don't want to like break the streak. Like, I want to get to 10,000, you know? It's a large number, 10,000, but you know, people see my consistency, and the fact that I made my branding. Day number 1 is part of my brand. Day number 2, I thought I was going to be on it for like 12 days. I made it. Okay. I made a 12-day streak. And then I was like, I don't want to leave after 12 days. I don't want to go to Instagram. Like, I'm off Instagram. I have no social media. I have no WhatsApp. I have no Instagram. I have no Facebook. I have no Twitter. I have no I don't have anything else but LinkedIn. I have LinkedIn and I have YouTube. And, I'm still growing. I'm still trying to utilize it. I'm just still trying to figure out how to grow my channel on YouTube. It's challenging. I don't have such a big platform there. Thank God I have like, almost 1,000 followers, subscribers, but still not so much on YouTube. But yeah, I love doing videos, and I made it a thing that I have to post by like 10 o'clock the latest. So now I'm not as crazy with the timing, which I still do before 10 a.m. I try, but people know me already. So if they see me, they're going to already know it's me. But I was very consistent. Like every day at 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, around that time, I would make a post. Yeah.
One last question.
Yay.
What advice would you give to a service business owner? So at whatever stage it is.
Didn't we go through this in the beginning? You're saying LinkedIn?
Not specific to LinkedIn.
Oh, any business?
I may be asking you a question that you've already covered, but
oh no, I didn't cover this. I think I understand your question.
What I mean is really just any piece of advice that you wish. Let me ask the question differently.
Yeah.
What would you tell Malya 2 years ago, right now? Knowing what you know now, being who you are, seeing what you've seen, what would you tell yourself?
I honestly would say that the biggest lessons that I've learned is just to learn and to go through it. In order to be an entrepreneur, and I need to adjust myself for this so that I can like get excited. But in order to get where you are, and I know that I'm just going to get farther in life, but in order for me to have gotten to where I am now, I had to go through all that. And if I knew back then that that was turning me into the entrepreneur that I am now, I think I would have appreciated those really, really challenging moments that I didn't know how to make money. I had to teach myself how to make money. I didn't know. I had to teach myself how to make $35 for a whole LinkedIn crash course. I gave someone a 45 to an hour crash course on LinkedIn, and like, I didn't charge a lot, but you know what? All those things as an entrepreneur, I think you would become the best entrepreneur if you go through those challenges. And it's painful, but once you get through it, it's like, wow, you got through that one. And there's going to be challenges that come up throughout your entire entrepreneurship journey, but you're going to get stronger. Like the fact that I went through challenges this year, I now have like very specific ways of payment, and people could, God forbid, like still try to mess someone over. But the fact that I'm securing myself, not just trusting someone's going to pay me and just, go to a job and go above and beyond, I don't do that anymore. So I'm teaching myself along the way. I did have coaches in the past that led me in the wrong way as well, that were trying to tell me to do things that I didn't fit with myself, and I had to really trust myself. So I was like, some of this stuff sounds good, but some of the stuff doesn't. So I said, you really have to trust yourself. But I think the best results are going to come out from when you go through the struggles and when you learn from them. Don't be silly and go through struggles and not learn from them. If that's just like not smart. But if you go,
what was the point of getting the struggle in the first place?
Exactly,
Should
right.
have just not gotten into that.
And it goes with anything. It doesn't only go with business. If you're single, it goes with dating. Like a lot of it has to go with like listening to your gut feeling and whatnot. So for me, like it's just, that's what I think. Even though it's hard for me to say because my challenges were very, very, very difficult, and like I'm still dealing with a few things, but I would say that it's taught me so much because I went through it. And I think that when I'm old and I'm where I really want to be and successful and whatnot, I'm going to look back and be like, wow, Malya, like I'm so proud that you pushed through all those challenges and you didn't allow any of these people that tried to push you down actually keep you down. You got yourself up. And I think that that's just incredible advice. Just persevere, keep going. Life is all about challenges. I know that sounds really harsh, but actually, let's skip that. Life is not all about challenges. Life is about growing. And when you learn from different things and you grow from them, I think that good things will happen.
Yeah, life is about dealing with the things that come to you.
Exactly.
Like the story of the guy who fell into a pit, and then they were pouring dirt on top of him.
Oh, I don't know that story.
No. So what he could do is he could be like, okay, I'm getting buried. No, this is the end. This is it. Lie down and give up. Or every time they pour dirt on top of him, he could shake it off and step on it. And then eventually he'll be out of the pit.
Wow.
So when these challenges come.
Profound.
When these challenges come, you can let them hit you. You can let it rain and then just give up. Or you could shake it off, learn from the experience, and keep moving on. That's amazing. And there's one other thing I want to say. You said shake it off. You don't have to shake it off right away.
you can deal with it. You can internalize it. You can feel the pain. It's very healthy to feel the pain when these things don't go right. It's okay, but get up. Even if it, like, some challenges held me back for like 6 months. Okay, 6 months, 3 months. They held me back. I'm going to be honest, but I don't care how long it held me back. Instead of it being 7 months, it was only 6 months, and I got myself back up. So you could feel it. Don't feel it for like too long, but feel it and take the time that you need, and yeah, move on. That's a cool thing that you said. I like it.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Anyway, thank you very much for, I keep saying coming in. I came in.
He came in to my place. So yeah, here we are.
Thank you very much for agreeing to come on the show. If someone wanted to get in touch with you because they were very impressed by what you said, which I imagine everyone watching this is very impressed. Someone wanted to get in touch with you. What's the best way to reach you?
Honestly, the best way is send me a message on LinkedIn at Malya Feivelson. That's MALYA FEIVELSON. Send me a message, say that you listen to this podcast, you want to, be in touch. You can go to my website, go to the contact form. That will go straight to my email. So you go to my website is www.hebrewhitsradio.com. That's hebrewhitsradio.com. Or you can email me at hebrewhitsradio@gmail.com. And yeah, that's the best way.
Here we are.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.